Coffee and Collaborations family. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, once again, Kimberly Winborn of Kimberly Winborn LLC, and of course, Coffee and Collaborations Media. And today we have an amazing guest who I have been waiting to interview for quite some time and excited to have. She is like a local legend here in the Triangle, and I'm sure beyond because of the type of business that she does. And her name is Debra Mathias, and I'm going to read her bio just very quickly, and then we're going to dive right in because I want you all to meet her, know her, and get connected with her. So Debra Mathias has over 30 years of sales, marketing, promotions, branding, and sales management experience. As president of Connect to Clients, love that name, and a LinkedIn trainer and coach for over 8 years, Debra brings her strategic, actionable approach to everyone, from entrepreneurs to Fortune 500 companies. Her dedication to the success of others is what sets her career apart. Debra's guiding philosophy is to pay it forward. And you know, you hear a lot of people say that, but she actually lives that, which is one of the reasons also why I love her. Her LinkedIn strategies gives companies and individuals the toolkit they need to succeed in social media marketing. Don't just survive, thrive in 2020 in spite of everything that's happening. And I love that. Don't just survive, thrive in 2020. Debra is host of LinkedIn Local Raleigh Triangle, a worldwide networking initiative held quarterly in the Triangle area to bring LinkedIn connections face-to-face to meet other professionals of like mind. Her desire is that everyone meet someone that they can connect with to grow their business, become a referral partner with, or find their career opportunity. Her desire is to show others how to grow, market, and promote their businesses through meetings, the connections to build their network. This is so much fun right here. As a former race car driver for 13 years and 17-year breast cancer survivor, she puts her focus, determination, and passion for success into every aspect of her life. Debra is a current Sports Car Club of America member and former race car driver who competed for 13 years in the Spec Miata class of both the SCCA and National Auto Sports Associate, NASA. She's still involved in amateur motorsports competition as crew chief for her husband. Debra also studied martial arts and is an avid gardener, writer, and feng shui follower. So I'm excited to have her. We get to learn some of the fun stuff, some of the business stuff, and now we get to have a conversation with the amazing Debra Mathias. And I want you to tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you got into business and became this like LinkedIn guru.
Thank you first and foremost, Kimberly, for having me. I am so honored to be on your show. When we first met, I just really fell in love with you because you have the same goal as I do, and that's to meet people and really get to know them and let them be a part of your life. So many people that connect don't take it that extra step to really be connected to their connections on LinkedIn or outside LinkedIn. And it's kind of interesting when I share how I started my business, people get, they look at me and go, really? So in 2008, much like today, there was a stock market crash. And yes. I was working for a courier company at the time. I couldn't get any appointments. Nobody would see me because everybody was holding on to their money tight. Everybody was afraid. So in 2009, January, I got on LinkedIn and set up a profile. I had no idea what I was doing, but I took my prospect list and I took my client list and started connecting with my clients and prospects on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And really started what I call my training sessions, networking with LinkedIn. It was truly reaching out to people on LinkedIn and getting to know them on a personal level. Yeah. And then meeting them face to face to do business. So in 2011, I was asked to be a speaker at a networking meeting at 7:30 on a Tuesday morning. And I remember well going 7:30 on a Tuesday morning. Who networks that early? But my friend asked me if I would do that, and I said, sure. So I said to her, she said, well, I go, what is it on? She goes, it's on social media. And I go, I don't know social media. She goes, Deborah, you're all over LinkedIn. Just tell people what you do on LinkedIn. And I went, okay. So that morning I took my computer in and plugged it in and literally just started saying, this is what I do on LinkedIn. I was very fortunate that there was a Fortune 100 and a Fortune 500 company executive in that social media networking group, and they hired me immediately to go in and train their sales staff to do what I was doing on LinkedIn.
Wow.
So, as they say, the rest is history. My clients started asking me to train their staff, and in 2015, I left the courier company I was working for and jumped in feet first into doing my business full time. But from 2011 till now, I've been training professionals how to grow, market, and promote their business on LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh. What a story. Just
Crazy.
happenstance.
Yes.
But you know, as they say, there's no coincidence. Like it was meant for you to do this. I think about all the lives that you have touched as a result of that. Like you just came in, showed people what you were doing. And there's so many sayings that speak to that, right? Like you
Right.
just show up and serve, and then as a result of service, it'll come back to you.
I truly believe that, Kimberly, and that's why my favorite saying is pay it forward. Because
Yeah.
if you do what you love, no matter what it is, the money comes.
Yeah.
And it comes fast and furious because number one, you're doing your passion, but number two, if you're truly helping others with a selfless heart,
Yeah.
people see that.
Yeah.
And it, that's that's the most beautiful thing. That's the type of people like yourself I like to collaborate with,
Yeah.
because your heart is true, it's genuine, and you truly want to help people.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, when you show up to serve, it comes back to you because people are like, well, wow, she helped me without anything expected in return. And so they want to do the same for you. So that's that whole pay it forward model that you were talking about. As you pay it forward, the next person does. And you don't have to, you don't have to worry
No.
about, yeah. I want more entrepreneurs to really truly get that. Like if we show up and serve, how much can come back to us. And I want to share your story because it's so dynamic. We were talking before we started, and we were talking number one about the pandemic.
Yes.
And so I want you all to hear her story concerning the pandemic and how she's been able to pivot, but the growth that has happened even during these times because of the fact that for 4 years up until now, you have been doing the main thing, which is serving. So can you share with us about what has happened for your business in networking during this pandemic?
Yes, I have been truly blessed, and it's very true. For the last 4 years, we moved to Raleigh April 4th and of 2016, and I literally knew no one. I had 100 connections here in the Raleigh area because I had started connecting before I moved here with people in the triangle so that I would know a few people.
Mm-hmm.
But my mission of bringing people together, I started what was known as Connect to Clients face-to-face networking.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2016, had the opportunity to be host of LinkedIn Local Raleigh Triangle, a 4 times a year networking event where you bring your LinkedIn connections and referral partners face to face to get to meet each other.
Yeah.
Well, when the pandemic hit, I had to pivot like everyone else. So I started doing a virtual networking. And We're having our second LinkedIn Local Raleigh Triangle Virtual June 23rd at 11 a.m. And I invite everyone that's listening to come and join us and meet my referral partners and get to know them. So it's really, just doing what you do in a selfless manner and having people that are your referral partners join you and do collaboration just like we're doing here.
Yeah. So that event is every fourth Tuesday?
Well, what we're doing now is there will not be a July event, but I'll be doing another one in August.
Okay.
But the coming up event is June 23rd.
Okay.
And it's at 11 a.m. and it's on Eventbrite. People can go and register. It's a 1-hour networking event from 11 to 12. And I have 2 guest speakers from out of town, Randy Cooper and Ronell Richards, who are both experts in social media and sales, who are going to be speaking. So it's going to be something you don't want to miss. But so that's been the whole thing with LinkedIn Local, is bringing people that can speak, educate the people that I bring together, and also do great networking so that we can meet people and be referral partners, find a career, just collaborate.
Yeah. And your process for collaboration, I know you just mentioned about people having a servant's heart, and being attracted one to another in that way, and the whole process being a networking evolution, I like to call it. Collaboration for you, what is that process outside of what is that process to building that relationship? So for some people, it's super easy. It's just a feeling. For others, it's a systematic approach. And what is that for you? Because maybe it'll help somebody to begin to open up their mind to collaboration because of the how.
I think one of the things that stop people from collaborating with other people is the fear of maybe not being good enough to partner with that person, or being afraid that that person is going to take their proprietary information and use it. Yeah. I've seen this many times with people that I would put together, and I'd go, well, how did it go? Well, I just wasn't comfortable. For me, I take both. I take a systematic approach, and I take that gut feeling approach. When I first connect with somebody online, I go to their LinkedIn profile and I look at it, and there has to be a lot of things, a lot of bells have to check for me to even connect with that person. I am a micro influencer, which means I have less than 10,000 connections on LinkedIn. I could be a true influencer tomorrow, probably, if I wanted to, but I don't connect with everybody I meet on LinkedIn. Number one, they have to have a picture. Number two, I need to have at least one connection with them so that if things do go south, I can go to that person and go, what do you think? But really, for me, it is a systematic approach as well as that gut feeling. Because the beautiful thing about a LinkedIn profile is you can read about people before you meet them. True. Like my first 3 sentences say that I'm a former race car driver, a Duke Blue Devil fan, and a 15-year breast cancer survivor. So people know something about me already. And I think that's what we need to do with people, is take that leap of faith and just have a 15-minute discovery meeting with that person and see if there's something there. If there's not, no harm, no foul.
Yeah. A lot of people don't do those discoveries anymore either because they feel like it's a waste of their time. But I agree with you. People ask me, do I charge for every conversation that I have? No, I'll do a 15-minute discovery to figure out a collaboration, because you do need to have that conversation to back up that gut feeling sometimes.
Right.
So, and you spoke to something I want to hit on really quickly, because people are afraid of LinkedIn. People are so afraid that they just can't be themselves, and you just mentioned when people first come to your page, they see something more personal about you than professional. And so what's a tip you can give to people who are afraid of LinkedIn or don't know how to use it, like a free tip, and then we want them to come to your class as far as being themselves?
I'm going to give them 3 tips
Okay.
because these 3 tips are essential for connecting, getting your message out, and having someone want to connect with you. Number
Mm-hmm.
1, the picture. You've got to have a professional looking picture on LinkedIn. Don't have one of you when you got married to your wife and half of you's cut off, you know. You want to, we can take pictures with our cell phone that are great. Just have professional dress from waist up, comb your hair, look good, nice picture. Second thing, the best prime real estate on a LinkedIn profile is your banner directly behind that big blue banner. That's
Mm-hmm.
something that just pokes me in the eye whenever I look at somebody's profile. I go, boy, they need my help. You can put your company logo right there. And the third thing is your summary
Mm-hmm.
or your about section. Give me 3 sentences because you only get 122 characters. Give me 3 sentences that tell me something personal about you so that when I read that, I can go, oh, that person loves motorsports too.
Mm-hmm.
Or, oh, that person likes UNC, but I'm still going to connect with them because they're a sports fan. You
Yeah.
know, give me a little something personal about you. So
Yeah.
those are 3 good tips that you really need to have so that when someone looks at your profile, they can see what you do, they can see you, and they know a little bit about you so that they want to connect.
I love those tips. And, when I go to someone's page, and I remember you talking about those tips because I met you through Triangle Entrepreneurial Leadership. You came and spoke. And I think I met you a second time when we really got a chance to talk. And I remember all of your tips. And I remember applying them. And I wasn't afraid of LinkedIn, but I think you told me I wasn't using it to my best ability in certain areas. And I still think I could step it up. Like I think that all the time, like I can still step it up. But having people like yourself as a guide is, absolutely nobody can fail, as long as they connect with, yeah, as long as they connect with you. And so when people sign up as your client, who are you looking for, number one? And then what should they expect to receive from a LinkedIn trainer?
I am looking for anyone who needs to grow their business, market their business, and promote their business and get clients.
Mm-hmm.
So practically anyone can be a client. I've had a lot of people say, well, LinkedIn really isn't for B2C. Well, yeah, it can be. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it can be B2B or B2C. And so really any category
Mm-hmm.
is who I'm looking for. But what they will learn is number one, profile optimization. About a year ago, LinkedIn changed the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do not have an all-star profile on LinkedIn, instead of being on the first page or the second page of LinkedIn, you're going to be way back here. The other thing is you're going to learn how to post. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to learn hashtag use. You're actually going to learn how to reach out to people on LinkedIn and connect with your target customer. I take people before they even train with me have a pre-training worksheet that they need to fill out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because usually when people come to me, I go, well, I got some homework for you to do. And they go, before we train? And I'm like, yep, you got to fill this pre-training worksheet out because this is going to be your marketing plan on LinkedIn based on who your target customer is and who you're trying to reach. That's how we're going to set up your profile so that these people will start coming to you instead of you having to do all the fishing and going out and getting the client that you're looking for. But
Yeah.
I do show you how to do that as well.
That is a gem of information. One of the things that happened for me with LinkedIn is that I get a lot of outreach. I get a lot of inboxes and, different things like that. And so I end up having to go and do what you mentioned earlier, which is like check out their profile, vet, all of that. And I sometimes feel like I'm not using LinkedIn to my best ability all the time. And, that's what I was saying. I think that I could do better. And so for that person who feels like, maybe they have a presence on LinkedIn, but it's sort of still a mystery. I absolutely recommend that they reach out to you and do a training course. I'm going to endorse that right now. I think I've already endorsed it by having you as my guest, but and I know I still need to get a class myself, because the whole group thing, like having a group on there versus your a single portfolio and profile, there's differences, correct?
Right. I not only have a group on LinkedIn, which is Linked Local Raleigh, but I also have a company page. And the one thing everybody needs to know is if you do not have a company page on LinkedIn, you cannot have your logo beside your experience part of your company down in the experience section. I had a client call me, well, he's a client now, but he wasn't a client. And he goes, I'm trying to download my logo into the experience part of my company. I go, you can't do it. He goes,
yeah.
What do you mean I can't do it? I go, you can't do it. I said, you have to have a company page on LinkedIn for that logo to populate beside your company experience under the experience section.
Yeah.
And so
valuable information.
Little things like that people don't know that I teach them.
Yeah.
So, and how many times do we be on LinkedIn now? Has that changed since the pandemic? Absolutely. I didn't used to post but twice a week on LinkedIn. Now, because I know everybody's on LinkedIn and they're looking, I post 3 times a week because I know people are home, most of them, and they're on LinkedIn. As of January, the number was 610 million can be on LinkedIn at any given time. That was January numbers before the pandemic. So now that the pandemic's come, I'd say it's probably closer to 900 million. So if you don't have a stellar profile, you're not going to stand out on LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's so important because of the numbers growing, that people understand that profile is essential. So are you on any other platforms other than LinkedIn? Where else can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook. I have a business Facebook page, and I'm also on Instagram, and I'm on Twitter. My Twitter account is tied to my LinkedIn account. So every post that I do on LinkedIn gets tweeted out.
Nice. So Facebook and Instagram, is it your company name or?
Yes. Facebook is Connect O Clients. And at Connecto Clients, and Twitter is, no, I think that's my Twitter. And then have to think I do use my personal Twitter because it's at Racer Deb. And so I have a lot of following, or I did when I was racing. So I use my personal Twitter more than I use my professional Twitter.
I love it. So I love that you're a racer. So we're going to close out with that. So I have a thought. We're talking about collaboration over competition with a natural born competitor. What? So that's, first of all, an excellent example. But what a transition. It seems to me like you truly love and live life. So if somebody were to come to you and say, Debra, what's a tip that you could give me to win out here in this world where so much is happening and to continue to dominate and be a leader? You can relate it to LinkedIn or, just whatever. What's a tip or advice that you will give an entrepreneur to win?
What I give every client that trains with me: live every day as if it were your last, because it just might be. Be kind today, give today, and truly live each day as if it could be your last. Because if you take that outlook, you're always going to be giving, you're always going to be helping. Because think about it, if you knew that this was the last day you lived, how would it change your life and what you do that day?
Right.
So that's the motto I live by. Pay it forward and live every day as if it were your last.
I love it. I love it. So that's our time. And this has been amazing. It's been well worth the wait, number one. I look forward to having you back. You know, I do panels and different things like that. I would love to have you back whenever we're doing some of those business panels, because I think having someone with your caliber of reputation and information. So sometimes people have a great following, but nothing to stand behind it when you when you actually speak with them. And but you have both, and I really truly appreciate how much you give when you could hold so much in. You just consistently give and give and give. And those are the people also, Miss Debra, that I like to be around as well. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, and I would love to be on any panel at any time with you, because
Yay.
I endorse you as much as you endorse me.
Thank you so much. So you guys, thank you for tuning in. You want to make sure that you share this particular podcast. And if you're not on LinkedIn, it's something I've been saying for a while. You got to be on LinkedIn. Don't run from it. Don't be afraid. But if you do have concerns around it, make sure to connect with Miss Debra Mathias, who is an absolute expert in that area. You can follow Coffee and Collaborations on the podcast, which is on Instagram, and then also on Facebook at Coffee and Collaborations. And our website is coffeeandcollaborations.com. We're also on YouTube, where this video will also land, and that is at Coffee and Collaborations Media. So just make sure to follow us. And guys, you don't have to have the coffee. That coffee is optional, but collaboration is essential to your win. So thank you for joining us on Coffee and Collaborations podcast. We'll see you next time. Make sure to go out here and shine. Pay it forward, like Miss Debra said, and shine. Be a light.